When a person is externally oriented, even their identity comes from the outside. You are who we say you are. Now, that sounded very malevolent, but in a way, it is malevolent. To be externally defined is to be completely reactive to what is. Either you're going to be fighting everything that society and other people tell you, or you're going to acquiesce and comply with it. But either way, it's being externally oriented. So, what do I possibly mean by being internally oriented? Because being internally oriented means really knowing that deepest life force. It's not typically what we would think of as a self. If a self is defined like I am a father, I am a male, I am a son, I am a brother, those are externally defined identities. So an internally defined is really based on knowing the self that is independent of all those roles. And I tell you, having a baseline of feeling really, really good makes switching from an external to an internal orientation so much easier. When I have a baseline experience and the possibility of and the reality of actually feeling really good, that is so helpful. I can anchor myself within, and then the external world is like the ocean that it always is, with its waves that come and go and rock my boat, but with an anchor, to be actually able to anchor in the ocean. That's what's called for in a way at the highest level for having an internal orientation. The benefits of an internal orientation are less reactivity. And that is something I really want in my life. I don't want to be so reactive to things. An internal orientation also brings the ability to do what I do based on permission that I give myself. I'm not waiting for the outside to say, okay, now you can do this or that. But I give myself permission. And I tell you, I love it when I give myself permission to freely express myself. Do I get myself into trouble with that? Yes, sometimes. I choose to celebrate other people's independence. And that means their complete separateness from me, in culture, in identity, in belief systems. I believe we can really get along. We don't have to toe the line and all be defined by the same reality. That's the trouble with the corporate reality these days, because we're more and more being defined as consumers. And as long as I've got, some streaming service, and I don't even have to go to the store anymore, I can have everything delivered to me. I believe that that's part of being defined externally. And when I get into that, then definitely, then I become one of the herd members who just goes along with wherever the herd is going. And who directs the herd? That's the thing. If I am directed by the herd, that's external orientation. But if I'm directed by the stirrings within my own heart and the compelling nature of my real thirst as a human being for fulfillment, for creative expression, for deep contact and relationship, now that's the life I choose. That's the life I'm going for. Detachment. If something is lovely waiting, then detachment becomes much easier. And I notice for myself that in my relations and in my interactions with people and events in the world, if I just even have a moment's detachment where I'm not so knee-jerk response reactive, things tend to go better. I do want to add that if when I go inside, when I make my effort to go inside, and I am met with unfinished business or conflictual feelings, I am less likely to stay inside myself and thereby to cultivate an internal orientation. But think about it. If my external world is full of chaos and unpredictability and conflictual this is and that, and my inner world is also filled with that, then I'm screwed. I'm in between a rock and a hard place. So I'm saying it behooves me to complete my unfinished business, meaning my psychological traumas from the past. It behooves me to find real clarity and about who I am so that when I go within, my inner world will be a welcoming place. That makes an inner orientation so much easier. It facilitates the path. It's like an invitation from the king and the queen, come to the palace and enjoy, everything. Because that's what having an internal orientation is really like. Once I complete so much of the inner work that needs to be done, and I believe it's possible to reach critical mass with it so that I may not be a finished product by any means. I may not have completed everything that is illusionary from my past that I still believe. But if I've reached enough critical mass where my primary experience of being with myself is good, I'm way more likely to keep on that track and create a healthy internal orientation and be happy in my life and in the world. It's doable. I'm going for it.